are so many secret lairs out there. Let me tell you about a few that belong in your Commander collection. Hey everyone, my name is DJ. This is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and we're talking about secret lairs today because there's a brand new secret lair, and this episode is brought to you by Wizards of the Coast. Thank you, Wizards. Check out the secret lair by clicking on the link in the description. More about that later, but right now, I want to talk about some secret lairs that you need for your Commander collection. Let's start off with Skull Clamp. This Skull Clamp looks amazing. Let me read it for you. Skull Clamp is 1 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards, equip 1. Rachel Weeks and I were hanging out recently and she asked me, what's the best equipment in Commander? And without hesitation, I said Skull Clamp. We are in agreement. It is by far the best equipment in Commander. And the reason why is because it has card draw and efficiency. And a lot of times it doesn't rely on the traditional things that equipment needs. Like, you don't have to make combat damage with an opponent to get the value. You just need disposable creatures. Skull Clamp also is infinitely fetchable with an Urza Saga or a Trinket Mage. Like, it is perfect. It's the perfect equipment, and it is so over the top powerful and efficient for drawing cards. It belongs in your Commander deck. And this version is beautiful. Get this and the Solemn Simulacrum and the Phyrexian Metamorph. Throw them all in the exact same deck. It's going to be great. The next card I want to talk about is Carpet of Flowers. Carpet of Flowers is a single green mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of each of your main phases, if you haven't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. Now, a lot of people might be asking, what if no one's playing islands? What if this enchantment does absolutely nothing? Well, we're playing the odds here. And if no one's playing islands, yeah, but you're doing pretty well in the Commander game already. Okay, but odds are someone is playing islands, and just a couple islands on the battlefield, and Carpet of Flowers is a better Soul Ring. It's a Soul Ring that fixes for mana, and what if they have 3 or 4 islands on the battlefield? Carpet of Flowers is going to be so good in the games where islands exist that it's going to just totally dominate the game and totally make up for that one random game where Carpet of Flowers is a dead draw in your hand. Not to mention, this version of Carpet of Flowers is fantastic. This artist series, Johannes Voss, is spectacular because it goes Sanctum Prelate, Carpet of Flowers, Sphere of Safety, and Karmic Guide, and it shows this like romantic relationship that ends tragically. Like, let's just read the flavor text from Karmic Guide, the last in the sequence. Just one moment more. For Karmic Guide, like the resurrection angel, just one moment more. And the great part about that is that like people rarely pay the echo cost on Karmic Guide. So it's just one moment more. They're going to be together. This sequence is fantastic. And Carpet of Flowers is one of the most powerful cards that you can get from a secret lair. You know, if we're talking about Carpet of Flowers, like the next most powerful card has got to be just Basic Island, right? I know that's a meme, but this Basic Island right here, this one is fantastic. In fact, this whole art set is just so good. That's one thing that's fantastic about secret lairs in general is that, you know, you have your choice of like stylish basic lands. So not only do I like this island, the book island, because I'm like a huge reader, I'm a big book nerd. The book island is also spectacular. So pick your great basic lands and add some style to your Commander decks. All right, let's move on to the real next card, and that's Mother of Runes. You have 5 different secret lair arts for Mother of Runes, and you can't choose wrong. They're all amazing. I really like Mother of Runes because you don't always have your Soul Ring on turn 1 or your Carpet of Flowers. You know, you need 1-drops. You want to curve out. And a lot of people are like, look, I want to protect my commander. I want to protect my creatures. And so they might turn to Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, which by the way, are just totally fine inclusions, especially if you're not in white, you know. By the way, if you're going to include them, include the secret lair versions, of course. But Mother of Runes is actually surprisingly good because protection is definitely different than Hexproof or Shroud. Protection lets you get damage through in certain situations. That's really good. Mother of Runes can also protect herself. That's really strong too. And so this like opens up certain lines of attack, certain different ways of protecting. I think you'll be really impressed at just what this little 1-drop can do and how it can change the battlefield. Next up, I want to talk about Collector Oof. Collector Oof is 1 and a green for a 2/2 creature. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. Oh, just shut down everyone's Skull Clamp and Soul Ring and just everything. A lot of decks rely really heavily on mana rocks, and Collector Oof is a 2-drop that just says, no, none of that. I love it. It is incredibly powerful, especially if you build your deck not to rely on those mana rocks. Maybe you have some Llanowar Elves in there, the Secret Lair and Llanowar Elves too. Very nice. This Collector Oof, this art style is not my typical favorite art style, but I think I like it a lot because of this flavor text line. So this orb I got back at SphereCon 1993. It looks a lot like the 94 version, but it's actually rounder. I don't know why, but that flavor text just hits me in a very special way. I love it. Look, if you're not about shutting down all of the artifacts, how about trying out Kogla the Titan Ape? Kogla is 3 green for a legendary creature ape. It's a 7/6. And when it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Whenever Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. 1 and a green, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gains indestructible until end of turn. I really like the destroy on attack, especially because Kogla can really get into combat really nicely. I found that the destroy on attack means that I can actually destroy several things at once. Kogla has the potential to be like a 4-for-1 or a 5-for-1, removal and continued interruption on their artifacts or enchantments. Not to mention, I love the Ikoria style, like the comic booky style from all of the Ikoria cards are my personal favorites. So seeing Kogla in that Ikoria style with that big punching ape, it feels fantastic. And finally, we have one of the best cards that you probably aren't even considering. It's Boseiju Who Shelters All. Boseiju Who Shelters All is a legendary land. It enters the battlefield tapped, and you can tap, pay 2 life, and add a colorless. If that mana was spent on an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered. So this has a lot of downside. Entering the battlefield tapped is the biggest one. And also, you have to pay 2 life every time you tap it for mana. Like, what is this, a bad Ancient Tomb? But if you are in a meta where counter spells exist, which is like my meta, a lot of metas that I see at conventions, like counter spells are everywhere. And if you really need your cool spell to happen, your Torment of Hailfire, your big crackle with power, like you need these spells to happen. Like you need Boseiju. You just really do. I've had so many important spells that'll get me back in the game or win the game, just countered out from under me, and it feels horrible. Fight those counter spells. Make that blue player suffer by playing Boseiju Who Shelters All. All right, everyone, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the best secret lairs. They have cool art. They're amazing commander playables. So consider getting these for your collection. I want to thank Wizards of the Coast because they sponsored this video. Thank you, Wizards. Hey, there's a new secret lair out. It is super special. Anniversary edition. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click on it. It'll take you over there. Browse all of the great new treatments because you're going to want them for your collection. You're going to want to slot those specific cards into your commander deck. Check them out right now. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everyone.